Hey, welcome back to the homestead down here in the orchard, spring of 2023. It's been a little while, but we're back and we're approaching 1,000 subscribers, so we appreciate all the new people joining on. Please subscribe if you're not already. Let's push to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So this is the third year of this orchard. It was planted in spring, or the actually end of winter 2020. So this is about the third birthday for this orchard. So let's spin through it and take a look at how everything's doing. All right, we're starting over here on the peach end of the orchard. And this is the Santa Barbara peach. And this one's done really good. And it did have a very nice yield of peaches last season. And you can see here, it's got a really good fruit set. And we've already thinned this one down 40% roughly. And so you can see the trunk's gotten pretty thick, 2.5 inches. This one is on drip. Most of these are on Greywater, but this was one of the ones we switched over to drip. There's some fruit there. These, could be too close together, so maybe we'll thin that, but thinning is the hard part. No one wants to get rid of fruit. And so this one's about roughly just 6 feet tall. And so, yeah, this is the Santa Barbara peach. We've been thrilled with this one. It's had good yield and overall done really well, and we're hoping to get some real good fruit this season. And heading over to the mid-pride peach. This one has a really open center, kind of a weird shape on it. Didn't really get the best structure off the bat, so that's why it's very important to get your structure correct the first couple of seasons of pruning. But it does have a nice fruit set, and I can't recall the fruit on this one last year, if it bared pretty good fruit. Lost track. But yeah, this one's about 5.5, 6 feet tall. It has a really good fruit set on it, and we have thinned it 30 to 40% already, and maybe we need to do it some more. It does have some peach leaf curl, so we're gonna need to come through and rip off all the damaged leaves from the peach leaf curl. So that'll be done. Hopefully we'll get that all done today. So yeah, that's a mid-pride peach. And this one is on Greywater. Let's go take a look at this trunk. Couple inches, 2, maybe 3 at the very bottom there. And now we're gonna work our way over to the May Pride peach, which has never really done that great. I don't know, it's just one that didn't thrive. You can see there is a bloom there, if you can come into focus. And there's all these suckers. I'm gonna cut those out today. This is on Greywater. It gets a lot of water. We just come off a huge amount of rainfall this season. Most rainfall in years. So it's sending out some shoots of growth. It has some blooms about to come. This is like one of the latest bloomers we have. The structure's okay with the open center, but overall this one has never really gone too crazy. So we'll look for, maybe it needs heavy watering, not sure, but we'll hopefully look for some improvements on this one. And then we'll come across here to the last peach tree, August Pride peach tree. This one has a lot of peach leaf curl, so yeah, it's kind of ugly there, but we'll go ahead and get that all cleared off. It has a pretty heavy fruit set, so probably need to actually come through and thin it some more. I already have thinned it a bit, but some more would help. And this one's around 6 feet tall. That shoot right there is like a good 6 feet. And this one has a nice open center. So that turned out well. And yeah, nice heavy fruit set. So hopefully we'll get to eat some good tasty peaches off of the August Pride. And this one has a really thick trunk. Down here, probably 3.5 inches. There's the open center. And a nice set of fruit. Come over to the apricots areas. This is gold kissed apricot. This one was huge, and we did heavy pruning middle to end of summer. See if we can get that fruit in the light. So there's a gold-kissed apricot beginning to grow and ripen. And yeah, let me get another angle, but this one was probably 8 to 9 feet tall. Right now it is, the tallest points are 6.5 feet or so. Got a nice open center. A lot of growth coming in there, so that will, you know, eventually cut that out of there. But real heavy, vigorous growth on this one. Gold-kissed apricot. Not a whole ton of fruit, didn't set heavy. Just a handful here and there, but heavy, vigorous growth. So gold-kissed apricot looking pretty good, really thick trunk. This is a 4 to 5 inch trunk on this one, and some suckers down there, so gotta get rid of those. Let's come over and check out the Katy apricot. This one's done okay. It was pretty tall as well, not quite like the gold-kissed, but up around 6-7 feet, and pruned it pretty heavily last end of the season and then in the winter. And no fruit set on this one. I don't believe that it even bloomed. May have had a couple, I'm trying to remember. So this one's doing okay. And then over to one of the newer additions, well, not new, but it's a Tropic Gold, and this one was replaced. So the original one here died, and we went ahead and replaced it with the new one, and the new one's taken off and done really well and actually set fruit already. So this is like at least a season or two younger than the tree next to it, and it's already setting fruit. And we're gonna just thin that out. See, that's a double. You don't want the doubles. Always get rid of those, they'll just split open. That one too close to each other, but yeah, there's not that many on it, so it's not like thinning's gonna be a huge deal here. But yeah, this one's done really well. And let me show you the structure here. Beautiful open center there. As you can see, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5 main branches coming off the middle. And this one's on a drip system, not on Greywater. And now, so this is the row of apricot and peach. And now we're gonna get on over to the next row. We're gonna start over here with a flavor grenade Pluot. There's a description there, plum mixed with an apricot. And I'm showing you that because there's not much to see on this one. So this one had to be cut back down to 16 inches or so because it had a huge split up here where the trunk started to branch out. He had a huge split and didn't want to risk that worsening or destroying the tree altogether, so we cut it back down. And yeah, that would be the process of pollarding it when you cut it way back down to like a stump. And then it will grow back, and we can see it's alive. So there's a little growth coming and a little there. So good news, it's not totally dead. Hoping something comes off from up around here and sets the new structure there. But yeah, that's what's currently going on with the flavor grenade Pluot. And now we will turn this way, and what we will see here is a plum tree. That would be a burgundy plum. This one's kind of so-so, never done amazing, hasn't set fruit yet. Just getting a little vigorous growth, some shoots coming up. This was tall and kind of like lanky, had some whips coming up, so pruned quite a bit down to hopefully get it to branch out, and now it's about 4.5, 5 feet with the nice open center there. So yeah, it's a burgundy plum. Now we're over to the cherries, and we've got the Royal Lee cherry here. And this one was really tall. Right now it's 5-ish feet, and this was like 8, 9 feet, so it did have to take a bit off of it. Somewhat aggressive pruning. There's an open center there. And yeah, it's beginning to send out new growth, new vigorous growth. It bloomed, had beautiful blooms, and there's some tiny fruits being set. You see that right there? So there's some little cherries coming in here in zone 10. And there's another one there. And this thing is gonna definitely get tall. They grow very vigorous. And so we'll turn around behind me. That's the Royal Lee cherry, and go to the mini Royal cherry. This one's even more vigorous than its neighbor. and was very tall, was cut back quite a bit at the end of last summer and then this winter when they were dormant. And so you can see lots of vigorous growth, and it does have an open center in here. You can kind of see some stuff's growing in now that it's getting all its growth on. But yeah, nice open center. I did take some ropes and strings and pulled the branches off to the side, staked them away because they were growing so vertical. And so now this one's at about 6 feet tall. That's the mini royal cherry tree. I don't know that it has any fruit sets. It did have some really nice blooms. And now we're gonna go head over to its neighbor, which is a nectarine. And this is a Panamint nectarine. This is one of the trees here that's never really thrived. Pull some of that peach leaf curl off. But yeah, it's got some blooms that about, you know, kind of dried up, and seems like some got pollinated because yeah, there's a little tiny fruit there. So it is setting fruit, that's cool, but it never has had like a ton of vigorous growth. Its root system's not amazing. You kind of wiggle it, got to get rid of those suckers, of course. Yeah, so that's a Panamint nectarine, and yeah, there's some fruit on it. But yeah, it's one of the stone fruit trees here that hasn't totally thrived. But yeah, there's actually a pretty decent fruit set on it, but so we need to go ahead and thin that out, hopefully get that done today. Yeah, so Panamint nectarine. And then over to the Desert Delight nectarine. And this one's a bit of a star. It's a bit of a standout here in the orchard. It's done really well. So you can see it's loaded with fruit. And we have thinned this one already about 35–40%. We've taken a lot of fruit off of it. And so there's some of that fruit ripening. And yeah, green, and then it turns reddish. And so hopefully these continue to grow in size. Maybe we needed to thin it heavier even to get bigger fruit. But yeah, nice open center. Good growth outward, good vigorous new growth showing up here in spring. And some peach leaf curl. We're gonna have to get rid of that. Peach leaf curl is a fungus, and there's nothing you can do once it's on. You have to just rip it off and hope for better luck the next year. It's a fungus based. And so here's something that happens on the nectarines. They have such thin skin with no fur that something can happen. I don't know what's going on here exactly, but I've seen this on a number of them where the skin just kind of gets messed up. So yeah, we're gonna pull that one off. But yeah, it's about 6.5 feet overall. This one's doing really well. So yeah, that's a Desert Delight nectarine. We'll go over to its neighbor here on the other end, Arctic Star White nectarine. And this one put off fruit last year, as did the last nectarine I just showed you. Both of them were pretty much dessert quality, really, really good. And so here's some fruit setting. And this one, I believe we have thinned this one already, but probably need to go back in and thin it again. Look, these are too close together. Those two, you want to have them, what, maybe every 4 to 6 inches, I think, something like that. Yeah, here's another nectarine, show you that thin skin thing, a bug or something. But yeah, this one's got a little weird structure. It's got a long, really horizontal gangly branch. It was even worse before I pruned. So not the most amazing structure, but just shows you don't have to have, you know, an award-winning structure to get good fruit. Heading over to the Methly Plum now. And this one's doing real well lately. It hasn't set any fruit yet. It has bloomed. There's that nice open center. You can kind of see in there, whoops, that there's just a little bit of new growth in there, but overall the structure in there is pretty solid as far as how open it is. And yeah, there's some blooms, but this has yet to set any fruit. So beautiful little white flowers. And this one was real tall and had some shoots going up, probably 8, maybe 9 feet. And its trunk thickness is now 3.5, 4 inches. So it's getting some solid growth. And this is one that originally got hurt one of its first summers by a bunch of ants and aphids So it's bounced back, it's doing really well. And not really any ants this year bothering our orchard, so that's great. Yeah, so that is a Methly plum. Now we're gonna head over to the apple zone, Fuji apple. This one's just starting to come out of dormancy, not a lot of growth. Some green down there, and a nice open center. And probably have to decide on some little more structure cuts later in there, but yeah, new growth. Looking great. Fuji apple. This one produced fruit at least once, and it was really good. So Fuji apple, good eating. And over to Gala apple, or Gala apple or Gala apple, I don't know. And you can see some spurs there, and so it should get some growth going soon. Just kind of a central leader on this one for the most part. Was kind of left alone when planted, and it's doing pretty good overall. And the apple trees here just don't seem to go crazy with growth. Maybe that's just how apples are in general. And then we're gonna turn around here, and we're gonna see a Dorset golden apple. This one has a ton of little apples on it. I have not eaten one yet, but I've seen mixed reviews. I've seen kids eat them and love them, or recently love them, but the first time they ate them, I guess they weren't ripe enough. But someone bit one today and liked it, I guess. So not a big tree. Probably should have thinned this even more. I did thin it quite a bit, but I guess maybe not enough. Here, we'll get rid of that little one. Twist that. There's your small apple. Yeah, so this is Dorset golden, and this thing's only 3.5, 4 feet tall. Let's go over to the Flavor Delight Aprium. This one had crazy vigorous growth last spring and summer. This one's younger than the original planted trees by about a season, but it was solid 8 to 9 feet tall, and now it's about 6 feet. These fresh shoots are 6.5 feet. So this one has had monstrous growth. This was the one that was stick pruned down to that stick right here was the top of it originally. So that would be, I believe it was 30 inches, 2.5 feet. And now it's got a real thick trunk, probably 3-ish inches. And there's that open center, it's shaded in there, but you can see 3 main branches coming off for the structure. And has yet to set any fruit. Flavored Delight Aprium. Then we're going over to All-in-One Almond. And this had a lot of fruit last year, and it's got a lot again. And we never thinned this, we just let it do its thing. And we did eat some of them, and they were good. And this one had a lot of vigorous growth last spring and summer as well. It was quite tall. It's still like 7 feet tall up that area. This right here is like 6 feet. That's your All-in-One Almond, really a lot of growth. So we're starting to see things get a little tight here with its neighbor here, the Nectarine, over to here. It's about 12, 16 inches, but we're gonna stay on top of that and not let everything grow into each other and get too out of hand. So yeah, there's a lot of fruit set on this. And this will be cool to get some nuts out of the orchard. Come over here where there's better light on it. And look how many nuts are there. And so you wait till they, I guess, fall off. I actually don't know 100% how these things work, but we kind of ate the ones that fell off, picked in through there, and there's like a nut heart, a kernel in the middle. And so there's one more row here. And this is a pear tree. Bartlett pear, I believe. And this one's one of the younger ones. It's, I think, a replacement for the original Bartlett. And this was stick pruned real low. Where I'm pointing is 24 inches at the most to the ground. in the shade there, but it branched out with an open center. I did, what do you call it, tie these down, forgot the name for it. Tied these down to get some better angle on them, because this thing was growing just with total vertical shoots. These things seem to like to grow real vertical. So this angle here is like 45, and that wouldn't have been that way if I didn't tie them out. And this one's not on Greywater, it's on drip. So one last one, which is, I believe, the Granny Smith. Correctamundo. That's the Granny Smith apple. This one's never done anything crazy as far as growth. It's a central leader. Look at this big old spur on there. Maybe that'll take off and do something cool. But, you know, it's like almost like these leaves just want to fall off. Like it still thinks it's needing to drop all its leaves, even though we're in April here. So Granny Smith apple there, waiting for these to take off. This is on drip irrigation. There's that other apple. So you can see apples haven't done amazing. I'm not sure why. If you have apple tips, please share them. So there you have our backyard orchard, spring 2023, towards the end of April here. Third year coming into it of growth here. So thanks for checking it out. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll see you on the next one.